guys, the Benidorm Enthusiast here. For today's video, I'm going to be chatting to you about two major news stories from Spain and how they may affect you and your visit to Benidorm. The energy saving plan, which limits aircon and lights, and a nationwide shortage of ice. First of all, let's have a quick catch up on the weather. It is absolutely gorgeous at the moment here in Benidorm. The temperatures and humidity have dropped in the last couple of days, only slightly, but it is so much more pleasant. We've had one of the hottest summers on record so far, with some pretty unbearable days with shade temperatures getting very close to 40 degrees and temperatures in the direct sun registering up there close to 50. August is always very hot and stuffy, but the extreme heat came early this year, and since the middle of July really it has been scorching, with daytime temps most days mid-30s and overnight barely dropping under 30. But the forecast for the next week or so looks much better. Daytime shade temperatures hovering around 30 and overnight temps dropping down to a much more sleepable 22-23 degrees. The clouds are clearing so the heat can escape, and lots of sunshine is predicted. On to the news. So the first thing I'm going to discuss is Spain's new energy saving plan. This was approved at the start of the month and was implemented last week. The main restriction is the limiting of aircon and heating temperatures in public buildings. I have to admit, when I first read this, I thought I'd read it the wrong way round, or they'd written the temperatures the wrong way round. A minimum temperature of 27 degrees for aircon in summer, a maximum of 19 degrees for heating in winter. That sounds pretty crazy to me. 27 degrees is not cold, it's warm, and 19 degrees is not hot. Surely that can't be right. But it was. Yes, those were the initial limits set by the central government of Spain, with the intention of saving energy as recommended by the EU in the face of an energy price crisis. These aircon limits are applied to public buildings, shops, business, offices, department stores, supermarkets, bars, restaurants, all those sorts of places. But most business owners were absolutely outraged by this. 27 degrees is just too warm. Not only uncomfortable for the customers, but dangerous for the workers, especially in sectors where more physical exercise is expected. Sitting at a desk in an office all day is quite different to waiting on tables at a restaurant, for example. So within days of it being implemented, exemptions were made and the limits were lowered. The government stated that the plan is flexible and open to adaptations. So 25 degrees is now the minimum temperature for certain places, including bars and restaurants. It still doesn't sound very cool, does it? But I can honestly say that those couple of degrees do make a difference. It's not freezing cold when you walk into these places now, but when you're coming in from 30 plus shade temperatures outside, 25 feels pretty fresh and more comfortable. I also must make it clear that these limits don't apply to private spaces, that is in your homes, and hotel rooms are also considered private spaces, so there are no obligatory minimum temperatures for your hotel rooms, which I know has been worrying a lot of you. In addition to aircon limits, shop windows and public building lighting is also limited after 10 p.m. If the shop or building is unoccupied after 10 p.m, they have to turn their lights off. Kind of sounds like common sense really, doesn't it? But lots of shops do leave their window display lighting on when they're closed through the night, so passers-by can admire products in the window. But that's not allowed anymore within this new energy saving plan, and it is in place until the 1st of November 2023. So it's not like a total blackout or anything like that. The street lights and the neon lights from the bars are still shining bright after 10 p.m. It's just certain unoccupied buildings that have to switch off. The aim of this plan is to reduce energy consumption by 7% in line with EU recommendations, to reduce dependence on Russian gas. Hopefully these energy cuts will allow us to withstand a worrying winter and not have to place restrictions on energy usage inside homes. We are already seeing a difference. In just over a week, energy consumption has been reduced by 3.7%, and that's before everybody has been able to adjust fully to the new requirements. So by the end of the month, we should see that percentage getting closer to the necessary 7%. Next thing I want to chat to you about today is an ice shortage in Spain. Yes, you heard it right. There is a shortage of ice cubes throughout the country. I have to say, it sounds quite absurd just saying that out loud, but it is true, and it's down to the increased costs of making and storing ice, combined with an extremely hot and busy summer. Spain uses a lot of ice in summer. A lot of bars and restaurants buy it in rather than have their own ice machines, as it's always been relatively cheap and easy to do so. People also buy loads of bags of ice for personal use at home, for parties, to take in their ice boxes to the beach or to the park. There's always a massive demand for ice in August, and this year there simply isn't enough to go around. The factories that make ice usually start prepping for summer demand around April or May time. This year, however, due to the crazy electricity prices at that time, as the Russia-Ukraine war started, the manufacturers held back producing their usual stocks, hoping to save money by offsetting the costs of storing so much for so long, and expecting to be able to catch up with demand as the months passed. But we've had heat wave after heat wave, and social activities have increased as people are enjoying the freedom they didn't have the last couple of years. Demand for ice has tripled, and the factories just cannot keep up. Consumers are demanding around 8 million kilos of ice per day in Spain, and there is only the capacity to supply around 2 million. So how is this going to affect you guys on your holidays in Benidorm? Well, if you're amongst those that buy ice cubes for your apartment or to take to the beach, you may find supermarkets are rationing the sale of ice, some only allowing 1 or 2 bags to be sold per person at any one time. When it comes to bars and restaurants, you may find rather than having ice automatically put into your glass, you're asked beforehand if you would like it, and you may get less ice than you normally would. Soft drinks served with 1 cube instead of 2, for example. I've had quite a few people messaging me asking if bars are charging extra for ice, and the answer is no. I haven't heard of a single bar in Benidorm that is charging extra for ice. Although legally they can, I think they'd be pretty crazy to do so. And I'm sure had it been happening, I would have heard about it through our social media channels, especially in the current climate with everyone worried about money and all eyes on prices. So just bear it in mind, guys, if you're coming on holiday soon, you may well notice establishments being a bit tight with their ice, and now you know the reason why. Hopefully this shortage shouldn't last too much longer, as we're getting towards the end of August now, the main holiday season for Spaniards, the busiest month for the tourist resorts, and the hottest month of the year. Demand for ice will decrease dramatically after this month, and the manufacturers should be able to get back to a normal supply flow. That being said, if you are worried about ice for your holidays, you could always bring a couple of bags over in your suitcase for personal use. Or if you have an ice machine at home, you could help us out in Spain. Fill your suitcases up with bags of ice, and you never know, you may even be able to make a few quid selling it on. But only the fresh stuff. We don't like that frozen rubbish. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We've got loads planned for you, showing you all around the different parts of Benidorm, as well as keeping you up to date with the news. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at the Benidorm Enthusiast. Stay positive and stay safe.